Let's start from the start.
Okay, I swear to God.
So, what did I say beforehand? Yes, it's called pinch out, it's not contingency contract. I agree with Supa on that
The
one. And
next
also,
video
Ines
is
is
a
one of the best
positive one.
operators.
I am gonna be a dick
Why did he call Ines shit? I still don't know.
riding Ines because my last review of her was dog water. But for now, just bear with me, okay? This video is sponsored by you. Links to support the channel are in the description, along
Alright.
with the Discord. Wait, super? What do you mean, pinch out?
It's pinch out because this is not contingency contract. Contingency contract ended with 12. This is not. No, that was way better.
This is a CC2,
No.
our beloved Pookie Bear contingency contract. No, you fool. The power of being able to produce 2DP clearly has gotten to your head. The demon of Babylon disguises himself with the coat of the righteous. Pinch-out
Yep.
failed horribly, and everyone hated it.
Hated it.
It was almost as bad as League of Legends,
Hey,
so
nothing
they
can be
can't
as bad.
name it Pinch-out anymore.
To be fair, it was horrible, but okay. Comparing it to League of Legends, like,
That has a bad connotation. They decided to instead dig CC's grave and drag it through the mud.
Yep.
Hello there, Arknight's most
I will say one thing though, that the current CC, which is Pinch Out 2, it's fine, but like, I'm pretty sure he will explain it, but like, what they did with the UI is now good, but I still prefer the old version where it's just like three different abilities and like you can pick what you want or not. What's this? Okay, skin 3, the video's about what I expected. He didn't really say anything new. Good thing I don't know what the want review is from. Oh wow, the rage baiter, rage baiting, so original, so unique. I'm actually surprised they did this video. As if all their content isn't centered around it. Copy pasted from another set that video got posted too because I'm not worth to rise. Let's say I think that's egregious. I don't think so. Let's go down and do super propaganda.
hated YouTuber here. Once again reminding you, just because you disagree
Oh, he lives! 5 stars bad, bro. It's not that his usual approach rage, but wait, why are you watching Supa's videos? I don't see the need to post it when that's what he does. So if I need to see people get triggered by Supa in the comments too, I don't actually watch his videos. Yeah, because misinfo is pretty annoying to deal with.
doesn't mean these videos are rage bait. What if it's not bait? What if it truly is my unfiltered dog shit opinion? In my humble
Also, he cannot be the most hated Arknights YouTuber. He's still freaking tactone.
opinion, which, as we all know, is objective and correct,
Yep.
CCB2 is a very poorly designed event. Immortal
Hey.
Hall, the stage, is an example of what I like to call lock and key design.
What is this, Mostima?
In Mostima looking
Okay, obvious joke is obvious.
ass design. You're not presented with a difficult challenge that can be tackled in a variety of ways, thus rewarding ingenuity, skill and creativity. Rather, you are given a very specific problem that has a very specific solution.
Yeah, okay, this one we can agree on. Because, yeah, for those you either need like elemental damage against like those triangle mobs, or you need silence, or you need levitate, or you need freeze, right? And you can count on maybe 2 hands that many operators can do it on a range tile because the floor is lava.
Functionally speaking, it's the same
Or those staff guys that walk and like basically only KOB can kill them.
as presenting the player with a locked door
Oh, hoo-ha.
and asking them to find a key in a huge map.
Okay.
The door would be the Predators, no, not Dr. Disrespect, and the Reef Breakers. The
Lane.
key would be Lin and Arturia, or Podenko.
Or Holoheyak, let's not forget her existence. I used Holoheyak against the Predators and it worked great. Or you could, talking about lock and key design, you could use Mostima's skill 2, because her skill 2 with Mastery 3 is enough to kill the Predators. However, if you mastered Mostima's skill 2, I have a lot of questions to ask for you.
This is where it gets the name lock and key design. It's not a puzzle and it's not satisfying. You're looking for the one thing, or Podenko,
Or Holoyak.
that will nullify the stage entirely and allow you to progress. You can't even use Gummy, which should be a sin against the church. She's usually the, unironically, best healing defender in Stultiferanavis stages, since she's the only one that can apply stun and remove dodge from the enemies.
It's not consistent, but fair point. I will concede that yes, because she can stun. I think there's like one more. Technically, Penance can stun with skill 1 if it's charged, but do you have time to charge it?
But here they might as well have banned the concept of ground tiles.
I mean, it is basically banned. Like, not many units survive long.
I know what you're thinking, but supah, I have seen very interesting clears without Lin, without Arturia, or Podenko, or maybe even
Or Holoyak.
entirely low ground strategies. And
I mean, yes, but that's not something like the... Yes, there are clears like that, but what as I said in like previous CCs, those clears are not something that like the general player will be able to do, right? Like these players who can do those are like have like intricate knowledge of the game, right? Like those who like do only 4-star only max CCs, right? Back in the day. That's not something most people will do because most people, even with 6 stars, will be barely able to do it, right? Or 4-star only clears. Why? It's like for a general player, why would you limit yourself to just 4 stars when Wizardel is right there, right? Or use your own example, right? Like there are so many 6 stars that can like trivialize so many things. So I feel like while yes, however, counter argument, it's more like those players are extremely good, is what I would rather say.
that is true. But in this case, I feel that is a merit of the player, not the event's design.
I'm not gonna dodge the pre-match allegations.
If Ilovamia managed to clear 620 points with 5 stars only, that's
really
because he's an outstanding player.
Yeah, exactly.
Not because CCB2 is tightly...
Like, I use parts strat to clear the highest CC, and even with that, the timings were really tight to the point where I slotted in Texas for the module 3, just so I can make up for the timing issues. Because, you know, the plus 15% damage, right? Like, they are just, like, good players who know, like, okay, Gnosis needs to auto-attack twice and then needs to use the skill so it insta-freezes. Like, they know all these little details on, like... They know the game inside out, but that's not the general player.
Designed. It's less about literally not being able to do anything else, and more about the fact it doesn't encourage, nor does it lend itself, to what made CC special and what caused every other gacha to copy it in some way at some point.
I think... Oh, I'm trying to remember. In Honkai Impact 3rd, we have that, but... Genshin also had it. I can't remember which one was first, Honkai Impact 3rd introducing it or Arc Knights, but yeah, a lot of other gacha games also have it. And it's just a simple but good way of like applying modifier. Like even Nikke has it. The simulation room overclock mode. Even that has it.
And that thing was player expression.
Yeah, even in Nikke, like, why they give you, like, negative multipliers, there's, like, so many teams that can do it. Like, yes, obviously, like, Scarlet Altar or Red Hood is, like, usually the best threat. That doesn't mean no other team can do it.
It's like doing a pacifist challenge in a game clearly not intended for it. It may be possible, it may turn out that yes, you can do it, but it's not a merit of the game. The game was not designed in a way to encourage or lend itself to a
Is it the cat killing them all?
pacifism challenge. Rather, it's a merit of the player. Let's look back at the real CC. I feel this will explain my point better. With Risk 18, you could get really wild and wacky.
Like, yes, you could use the Chalter stat, or you could put freaking Fart Tooth here and snipe the guy here, so it kills it.
It was a challenge.
You could do Ifrit, if I remember correctly, with the skill 3 as well. Trying to remember all the strats.
But a challenge that you could beat in a variety of ways. In one CC,
This one was soloable. Like, if you did Risk 18, this you could just do literally with just Texas Alter.
you could clear Risk 18 with Ursus students only.
Or Texas Alter only.
And that was before Leto came out. One could argue that this means
Don't remind me of this. This was the first CC I did, because this was around the time I joined. It was not fun as a beginner. I think I did Risk 17 was the best I could do as a beginner, which I'm still proud of, but man, I suffered for it.
Risk 18 was too easy, but I beg to differ.
As I said, yes, for a beginner, Risk 18 is still a challenge, right?
It means Risk 18 was designed so carefully to still be a challenge while also allowing for player expression and creativity.
Creativity, but yes. Yeah, like Risk 18 you can kill it with so many ways, and you can make up for your mistakes, while if you do Risk 32 or whatever is the highest, 36 I think it was, you still had a lot of, like, there's like, you can count on one hand how many strats there were for those.
Oh, and don't give me any of that elitist bullshit like, Supah, I sense a flaw in your argument. You say Risk 18 was a challenge,
Chalnaga.
but you see, I found it quite simple. Shut the f up and look at
Thank you! Thank you! Yes, Risk 18 is hard for the beginners.
the kiosk.
Why do you think people watch guides? Like, if it was super easy, guide makers wouldn't exist. Right? And not everyone has a year 1 account, right? I joined super late, and for the longest time I couldn't do Risk 18. I think the first Risk 18 that I did was the Viviana one. I forgot the name of it and the time. It was like CC 9, I think it was? Or 8. One of those things. And yes, it was still a challenge, because I was still learning the game. Like, Arknights is a simple game, but also is complicated. It's simple to get into, but hard to master.
The view count.
And also, if you just miss units, you can't really make up for it, because you only have one borrow slot. Like, what if I didn't have Gnosis, and I need Ray and Gnosis for this CC? Well, I'm just fucked. Like, that's the nicest way I can put it.
Risk 18 was solved with ingenuity. It was an example of game design that actively encouraged creative problem solving. 620 points in CCB2 is a lot different. Let's do some math.
Like, math. Talking about math, funny he mentions it, but if I remember, like, just think about it. I did 840, right? 620. That's like 80% of it, or something like that. 70-ish.
I know it's scary, but stick with me. Usually in CC on
Or
day
830, but still.
1, you could go up to Risk 27. You needed Risk 8, which means
Yeah, exactly, why did you say 8?
you needed 66.6 repeating percent of the available risks. This allowed for a lot of customization.
An average unit for a risk, sometimes more, sometimes. Yeah, okay, sure.
And
Like, yeah, about that ignoring. Like, I remember when I did CC. Which one it was? When I tried to do a high one. Like, I can't remember which CC it was, but I ignored completely the HP row, and I did everything else, and that was so good, right?
wildly different strategies.
Day 1.
Is
might I add.
depending on what risks you selected, as you could forgo an entire third of them, if not more sometimes.
Yeah.
In CCB2, you need 620 points out of 790 on day 1 still. This means you need
So my math was surprisingly on point. I wasn't too far off with the 80%.
the 78.5% of the available total points. It doesn't seem like that much of a
It
difference,
it is, but also it is like branching path thing, right? Like with the whole branching path thing, it's not just that you need more risks. Let's not forget that part where you also need to choose previous risks you might not wanted to choose, like in CC, right? If I didn't want to take the HP one, I didn't take the HP one, right? I can still buff the individual unit that I can deal with, right? Like let's say I can buff the boss fully, but I can forego buffing everyone else. But now with this, you need to sometimes just take like HP upon everyone just so you can buff that one unit that you can comfortably deal with, right? While with the old CC, you didn't have to do that, right? Or for example, there was the modifier of like, oh, the enemies have more arch resistance. Well, if your build is are built around physical damage, you could just forgo it. But now, especially now, the current one is like, oh, you need to spawn 2 more enemies of this, and also their HP is higher, and now their defense is also up, right? So that's why the branching path system is a bit more punishing and also harder to do, because sometimes you just need to take modifiers for that one modifier that you can take it that makes everything else harder for you, which in the old CC you didn't have to. I hope my point made sense.
but you just went from being able to ignore a third of the risks to only being able to ignore a fifth. It's
Yeah.
a substantial cut. What I am trying to show here is that CCB2 is, objectively speaking, more restrictive than CC. CCB2 neither encourages nor lends itself to any of what made CC good. You're asked to put the square in the square hole, and
It goes in the square hole.
that's it. If you're able to cram
Once this all things considered, this is kind of a bad analogy because of that one very I literally just I'm not gonna prevent the pre-watch allegations. Ah, yes. The issue with this analogy is that with the square hole, the guy managed to put everything into the square hole. So that's not a good
a
example, but I
circle
get his point. He's saying that in order to deal with the tree-looking head-ass guys, you need to use Lin, right? In order to deal with the staff guys top right here, you need KOB, right? In order to deal with the Predator triangle guys, you need Holoheyak, you need Mostima, you need Podenko, you need Virtuosa, right? I think that's all that can deal with it. Technically, Rosa can deal with it. Is it in the tile? Yes, they are in the tile. Technically, Rosa can deal with it with the stun skill, which I forgot which one it was.
in there, that means you're skilled, not that the square hole was somehow accommodating for it. In addition, it's not satisfying because the one solution completely trivializes the stage. 620 points in CCB2 is not a hard thing to do.
Sure. Sure, let's say yes.
Once you know that you gotta bring Lin and Arturia.
I mean, I managed to do it without Arturia on 790, but I use Schwartz. I use Schwartz and I use Holoheyak instead of Arturia. But once we go even higher, it's really hard to not bring Virtuosa for the normal person.
Or Podenko.
Or Holoheyak.
In fact, it's trivial. You can clear it with 4 operators, and
Sure.
that doesn't feel good. You don't feel like you overcame a difficult challenge. You feel like you tossed random shit at the wall and finally something stuck.
Here's the thing with this point though. Like, I agreed with the previous point, but this one, I kind of have to disagree because if you think back to the old CC, we are talking about CC, the old CCs and risk 18, right? Because he's using that analogy. Oh, you can use 4 operators. That's true for the most old CCs as well, right? Like, I remember I used like on the Vivi on Risk 18 that I managed to do the first time, I used Horn for the anti-stealth, I used Ifrit with the Shred, right? And I used Lapland on the Silence, right? And it was literally just throwing shit at the wall and it worked, right? So I would argue you can do that back in the day as well on Risk 18, right? I do agree that doing 620 is harder than Risk 18. Like, I still agree with that point. I'm just saying that let's not pretend that back in the day you couldn't do the same.
But truthfully, this is not really the fault of the map or of the risks, is
It's
it?
fucking mods.
It's the fault of the enemies.
Exactly.
Turns out, doing a CC around Stultifera.
I'm still having flashbacks of this freaking event. The story was really good, but man, the stages and the UI was bad.
Navis, of all events, was a really fucking dumb idea in the first place.
Yep.
If there's anything that represents lock and key design in Arknights, that is the Stultifera Navis enemies.
Because you need Gnosis for the boss, you need Lapland to silence the enemies so they don't generate the green or the blue puddle, right? You need, well, arguably Levitate, but you could get away with it. But I feel like Lapland is like the most obvious answer that, yeah, you needed Lapland. There is not gonna be a thing around it. Or you needed Gnosis for the boss if you don't want to suffer.
They, literally speaking, have one solution in mind for you to do,
Lapland.
and that's crowd control effects.
Yeah.
The difference is that in normal stages this works, because there is a vast array of operators, both low and high ground, that can apply such statuses. Lapland was the obvious best option,
exactly.
but not the only option.
Yeah, you could use so many other operators. Again, you could use Gnosis, as I said.
In a CC, this doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, because exactly, it's on the screen why it doesn't work. This whole thing.
More, because they are on steroids and deploying ground units is an unrealistic prospect on par with buying a house. You don't just need crowd control effects.
Oloyak also exists.
You need high ground crowd control effects that can be applied often across the whole stage. And also deal good damage.
Okay, maybe not Oloyak, but still Oloyak.
Man, f**k me for doing those videos about Ash.
Actually, yes, skill 2. Skill 2 actually is good here. True.
Because this is like one of 3 stages in the game where she's...
What's the other 2? Maybe those flying drone thingies in one of the chapter 10 stages?
actually optimal. Either that or elemental damage like Arturia skill 1 or Valarkivin skill 1. In conclusion, the only way this game can possibly be saved is by having a second Monster Hunter collab when Monster Hunter Wilds releases.
I disappointed in you, supah, because I expected from you to say that we need to get a gummy altar. That's a 6-star. I'm disappointed, supah. Ergo, this video is useless. I'm no longer taking this seriously.
And that's all. Master Chorgami.
Nope.
Bye.
Still even.
Hello, Uwu. Thank you for watching, Nya. I love you a lot, Owo. You're
No, you don't.
my Pookie Bears.
Oh, thanks, Breasty.
Thank you for watching, Kyun Kyun. And thank you to the members and Patreons on screen. In particular, Quill Damage, Matthew Nemo, Zeferini,
Oh, I expected him to do that in
The
the
Crazy Lord, Nupo, Lord Takeo, Andre Mulla, Mike Reguera, New Takoyaki, Good Old Leon, Maxio Sense, and Chromchan but JJF. That's all, Kyun Kyun.
There we go.
Bye bye, Pookie Bears.
Bye, bestie. Okay, I mean, overall, I agree with the video. The thing is, we know Hypergriff. I think that's this. This is not gonna change. Like they decided they are releasing this is the new CC, and we cannot do anything apart from complaining that we prefer the old one. I still prefer the old one as someone who did like freaking 6 or 7 of them. Like, yes, there is some rose-colored glasses, obviously. Like, let's not pretend that there isn't, right? People shit talk about CC like this does not happen. I feel like the reason why they're shit talking CC is that also sorry for the crash. I don't know what's going on. I need to buy a new memory for my PC. Um, I feel like the reason why people shit talk CC more is it's in the game. You cannot undo it. Why? What was the DOS? Design of Strife? I think that was the name. Yes, I'm a fucking nerd remembering that. Design of Strife didn't get put into the game after all, right? Like the thing with Design of Strife is that in the end didn't get put into the game. Like all the the other thing that was added to the game is reclamation algorithm, and a lot of people didn't like reclamation algorithm. But from what I hear, the current one is fine. But with CC, right? No one liked pinch out. I feel like pinch out was like that one thing that everyone agreed on it was horrible, right? So, but they still wanted to push it and they made it into contingency contract because you cannot name it pinch out because everyone hates it. No one would play it. Think about stationary security service. Do you see anyone doing it? No, they even give the stationary security rewards to normal stages because that many people just refuse to do it because its reputation is so um, like muddied, right? And I feel like that's why people are harsh about the new CC because the old one was better. This is not CC, please don't call it that type of deal, right? But now we cannot undo it, right? Like we can complain, but we know Hyperglyph is not gonna go as like, okay, guys, we listen to feedback and we are sorry, bestie. Everyone gets a free Visa Dell. Everyone gets a free Gummy Alter since we're talking about Supah, right? And then we are bringing back the old CC, no? Like, see, the old CC died with CC. Old CC was not flawless. I agree. I completely agree with you. I still think it was slightly better because I don't know when you joined the video, but I feel like this pathing thing is a bit counter or not counterity, but like it's a bit worse because as I said, there are like if I only want to increase one mob, why do I need to increase all the health of everyone, right? Like there are like modifiers like this, right? Like, oh, I want to increase the defense of the enemies, then why do I have to also increase the health of it, right? Like while with the old CC I could just increase the defense of the enemies, just increase their resistance, just increase their HP, just increase this mob, right? I think that's why it was better slightly. I feel like by CC3, from what I could see, by CC3, it's mostly good now. But CC2 is still has its like growing pains, in my opinion. And let's not pretend. CC1, everyone remembers how was CC1 or CC0 or which one was it with Crown Slayer, right? If you want to do high risk from the get-go, why do I have to unlock high risk tags before? I agree. Why do you have to? That's what I'm saying. It's not that bad. Like generally thinking, how was OCC? Um, like if you did the missions, you unlocked almost all of the tags, if I remember correctly, right? So that was like that was the old like. But now if I want to do high CC, why do I need to do the temporary sites, right? And again, like I could, like, but with the old CC as well, I could just say I don't care about unlocking the other one because I don't want to buff the boss. I just said something, right? Like I don't want to increase the boss's HP and give it an extra mechanic. I'm not gonna unlock the third tier of it. If I'm not gonna bother, then why I bothering anyways? So as I said, like neither is perfect. I think though, like again, we can go back and forth on this, right? Like I neither of them was perfect. I just generally feel like with CC, right? It was 12 iterations of CC, right? By the 12th iteration, it was really extremely good, right? Like CC12 was great. Um, in a weird sense, a mix of the two would be the best. The risk is like 10 extra points, so you don't need to clear the map 12 times to do high risk. Today, Merc is like 10 extra points. The current one gave 40, the previous one was 30. So you don't need to clear the map 12 times to do high risk. Okay, fair enough, but again, we can go back and forth. As I said, I think a weird mix of the two would be perfect, where it needs to be more separated by the quality of life of this pinch out version. If that makes sense, right? Like as I said, if I only want to increase their defense, let me just increase its defense, right? If I only want to increase his HP of all the mobs, let me increase the HP of all the mobs. I don't want to increase the elite's HP on top of that, right? Okay, for the sake of complaining. It's always gonna be like that. Like you cannot please everyone, especially the gotcha community, right? Like for example, and this is a good example in my opinion. Um, Little bit off topic, but Genshin Impact, they made an interview about like trying to fix the game properly now because they are not happy with the state of the game and they didn't have the support back in the day, but now they got the support and please let us try to fix the game and we are trying to listen to feedback. And people are so harsh on Genshin now. Like, in my opinion, I have my complaints with Genshin, like the fact that there is no endgame, right? And how the combat is boring. Why do you think I'm streaming Wuthering Waves, right? Um, but people are so harsh because like, oh, I expected more quality of life. It's not enough. Oh, why is this and that? They just started fixing, right? And that's why I say as well with this contingency contract, right? This is the second iteration. From what I heard, the third iteration is even better. And is there a CC4 in China? I can't remember, right? Like old CC, you are comparing something that was made through 12 iterations, right? 13, because I think there was a CC0 or something like that. Um, like, yes, you can voice your opinion, obviously, respectfully, usually, right? Like, I'm not gonna go and say, Hyperglyph is the worst studio, fucking burn it to the ground, I hate them, right? Uh, but you could say, as I said, like, in my opinion, they need to separate the tags a bit more. And that would be a good thing, in my opinion, right? If they separate the tags a bit more, there's no CC3 yet. I feel like there was. Am I hallucinating? I feel like there was. I might be mixing it up with something. But yeah, we will see what happened to CC3 then, right? But like CC2, I feel like is bad. So CC2 as like the UI design wise and the tags wise is better than CC1, right? Like it's an improvement, but CC1 wasn't that particularly good either. The issue with CC2, as Supah said in the video, it's Stultifera Novice, right? Stultifera Novice in general was like a pretty controversial event, so to speak, when it comes to the maps and the enemies, right? So that's why I feel like it feels worse, right? Like if this would be like, let's think of one, a Modrock stage. I just said one, right? Like then the golems would be the problem, but then only the golems would be the problem. And Modrock herself, obviously. I know why you thought about Modrock. I mean, she is a cutie patootie, but yeah. But yeah, as I said, it's just a mix of the two. That's my opinion of what we need. Just separate it a bit more, right? And maybe don't. tie. Like what I also liked in the old CC is that when it became phase 2, you just got the tags, right? But now you have to unlock each tag with the rotating sides. Now I will concede, again, as I said, it's not all bad. I will concede that the daily CC maps are not daily. I prefer that it's 3 days, right? Yeah. I had to watch this video, but then super crashed my pieces, so I mean, overall, it was a good video. I agree with most of the points. As I said, I voiced what points I don't agree with. As I said, is like, oh, you can throw shit at the wall. Why with the old CC you couldn't? You could, to be honest. In talking about risk 18, obviously.